today. I am a preacher. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no matter what. That's the Reverend Adrian Scout. Hi, Ken. You've been so quiet. Oh. Asheron, honey, you are just being such. Yeah. Yep, it has no water. I've made that joke. Miami? Yeah, they get mad. I'm like, hey, you can't get mad for something spelled just like freaking Miami, Florida, okay? Uh-oh. Me.
Live,
And I'm trying to fix this.
we're live.
We're live, and I'm trying to fix this. We're getting fixed.
Right.
But right now we're live. What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing great. Had a great weekend. I had a great weekend.
Had a great weekend.
I did.
It was a good one.
It was fun. I got to meet a lot of people.
Yes.
Of course, hang out with my friends. Even though there's a couple of friends that left before saying goodbye.
Hey. I had a 3-hour drive. You had like, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. Just 15 minutes. But I didn't get home until 11 o'clock.
Well, what did you do?
We went to go eat.
We ate too, got home at 11 o'clock. You were 15 minutes away. We were 3 hours.
One thing I do regret, we did not get a group picture before everybody headed different directions. That was a
I
bummer.
wanted to, and I almost turned around and went back inside, but I also knew if I would have done that, I would have left till 8:30. And I'm like, I got to go.
I got to go.
That's true.
Yeah, it was a long trip for them, but had a great time. Got to speak to a lot of the audience. I loved that. It was awesome. Yes. And a lot of stories. I got to hear a lot of stories. It was pretty cool.
We ended up having around 150 come again this year, so we were pretty thrilled with that. And it was pretty steady crowd all day.
It was actually really good. Good steady flow of people all day long. So that was pretty nice. I've done several events and been to several ParaCons, and this is the first time I've seen one that was done that way, and I really kind of thought it was kind of a neat way of doing it. The panels, I've only been to one that had a just one panel, and one of the events that I put on, I had a single panel with all the speakers at the end, just so anybody can ask questions, but it wasn't anything specific. So I thought that was kind of cool, the setup to it.
Yeah, we did that last year too, with just allowing the audience to ask questions as we went along. And that was a lot of fun, and it really kind of made it more homey and everyone a little bit more approachable, than sometimes they seem to be.
I totally loved the guy with Western outfit and the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Wow, that was so cool. He was so awesome. And the knowledge he had on UFOs was amazing.
He's from, and Enzo, tell me, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Is it Geneseo, Kansas? Geneseo, can't remember. But it's like a little bit north of Topeka, I want to say, and they have an annual UFO day because one of their, like he was talking about, one of the guys from that town did tons of UFO research back in the day before it was even readily, obviously no internet, barely any phones at the time.
Right.
So
oh my God. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. What is going on?
Yeah, it was neat.
It was.
I felt pretty comfortable with the first two panels, but when we got to the UFO, I'm like, my God, I am totally out of my league on this one.
I didn't sign up for the panel.
But, I had some knowledge about a few things in Missouri, but it's like, holy smokes.
Listening to Enzo,
these guys, I just sat there like this and listened the whole time.
Enzo and Phil and Mark, oh my gosh, they have so much knowledge when it comes to the UFO field. And he said, Geneseo is a little bit south of Salina. And he said it's Jim from Geneseo Museum. Enzo's in the chat right now.
Enzo is awesome and amazing because he was at my podcast on Sunday.
Yay.
Yes. And he contributed a lot to the chat and gave me a lot of knowledge that I wasn't aware of because I was talking about cryptids and stuff. And it was awesome. It was awesome. Thank you for being here.
Jess is here too. Jess is just give her some kudos. She is like the MVP.
Oh my God,
ParaCon.
Jess, you are amazing.
Chris was calling it the
Jessica around doing all kinds of stuff. So I thought she was gonna have a stroke a couple of times, but other than that,
I thought she was about to go into a stroke. She looked like she was saved a couple of times.
She's got it running like a well-oiled machine and keeps us all whipped into line for sure. So
and she only frowned at me a couple of times, so yeah.
Oh wow!
Wow! You're stepping up there.
You only got the just look a couple of times. Wow.
Well, I only noticed a couple of times. Then.
Noticed it a couple of times.
We noticed it a lot, Adrian.
I deserve it. I'm sure. I'm kind of. I don't know.
It was a good time, and it's so much fun to bring everybody together like that, and really. Get all those like minds going and
hearing the differences.
We've heard nothing but good about it.
Awesome.
Jess said she may have stroked out a few times.
Yes, you did well.
Yeah.
You did
Yeah,
well, and you
you
held
did.
Knocked it
yourself
out of the
together.
park.
Yes,
Well,
you
there's
did.
a lot of moving parts when you're putting stuff on like that,
Yes.
especially
There
there.
is.
And not only it's one thing when you have just a whole bunch of presenters, you're dealing with one presenter at a time. There, you're having to deal with those panels. So you got a whole bunch of personalities. Come on, come on, come on. So yeah,
Yes.
I get it. You get it.
Oh yeah,
And
the
everybody
different
plays
personalities
nice.
is what's awesome.
I tried to
because-
follow
Yeah.
the rules.
You did excellent. You did a really good job. Everybody did a really good job. Yeah,
I
and
only
it's not
heard-
only the presenters, but we had the vendors there, and so yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yep.
I only heard that whip crack, I think, twice all day.
What?
Yeah, and it echoed in the rooms. Everybody knew, get your act together.
Wow.
Get in
Yeah.
there now.
It's a good time.
No, you well organized, and it was
Well,
a great day. Great day.
I was familiar with that stuff, and when we run our event, Tina is pretty much that same kind of attitude. So I expected it. I was like, and Tina got to see herself in action basically by seeing. So I'm like, it made me laugh. But no,
And that's the first time I got to hear you guys' presentation. It was really, really good.
That's one of like 5. So yeah, we have
Cool.
oh yeah, we have
Oh,
several
yeah.
presentations. But I try not to, I'm very well, you can tell by my shirt, not necessarily this one, but the shirt that I wear, that yellow shirt, I am a little different. I'm very anti-paranormal face, and paranormal face, the real super serious constant tone.
I'm constantly laughing.
I'm gonna try to impress you with my intelligence and my scientific knowledge. No, man, I know that when I'm sitting there listening to stuff, I'm wanting to hear a story.
Yep.
Right. And there are times I want to learn things. So I do want to, when I hear people speak, I want to be entertained, and I do want to learn things too at the same time. But if you just go all monotone and whatever, so I try not to do that to people. And it's kind of funny because when I give a presentation, there's certain people that I lock eyes with when I'm talking. So that way it looks like you're talking to the whole room.
Yes.
You pick people at certain distances. And it's funny because then you get reactions from those people. And then after our presentation, we got several people. Well, we get several people talk to us after that. But there's one couple specifically come up to us and just kept talking. I would talk to us throughout the entire final panel. So, but we got a lot of praise from people, so it's kind of fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I
really
do
awesome.
know that Adrian did not look at me once
You
during
did ask that one
his talk.
question.
Well, that was at the very end, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was quickly shot down, but because I was wrong.
You were wrong.
No.
But no, that was my 4th opportunity. Fourth, to use Shaw's counting from last week. My 4th opportunity to hear your talk, and I finally got to hear the whole thing.
You didn't hear though. You
Awesome.
need to hear.
I'm just saying
the continuation of that story when that's my hidden presentation. So
I got
but
you.
I can't do that presentation. I kept picking on Jessica. It's not Jessica's fault. I didn't do that. It's just, I kept, but I had to pick on somebody. So Jessica had to be the booger I picked.
But I finally got to hear it
because
the whole thing.
Because it was streaming. Certain things that you just can't put out there into the billions of people who are watching. So so that's a private thing.
But you guys did
She
really,
said she only had to hit you in the
really
head
well.
with her clipboard one time, Adrian.
Yeah.
So you did good.
That was the whip
I
crack
laughed hard
heard.
too. It's fun. She's sitting right behind me. Whack.
Well, my son, he's not a big paranormal person at all, and he really enjoyed all the presentations and panels. He really enjoyed it too.
That's
It's cool.
awesome.
I got to actually hang out with him for a little bit, here and there during the day. So
He was the one on the side, right? He was the one streaming.
He was the one.
Yeah, no, he's pretty cool.
He's the one behind the iPad. Yeah,
We laughed a couple times. So.
he's a good kid.
But no, we had it was fun to do, and there's several of these people I've talked with online, but I never really met face to face.
Yeah.
You know, we talked to a few of them here, but
Yes.
it's different seeing somebody face to face. And
Oh yeah.
and just and what the
Brian
deal is,
Terrell,
how
he
tall
was
Brian,
so good.
yeah, how tall is that guy? Yeah, like I don't. He didn't look so tall when we was interviewing him.
No, no.
Everybody's tall to me. I can't tell.
I felt so bad because I had someone from my work actually show up there and said, "Hey, you work at such and such, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Nice to meet you." I didn't know who he was, and I was trying to set up my stuff, and I felt bad because he kind of looked nervous, and then he kind of walked away, and I was like, "Oh." So if you're out there
Darn
watching,
it.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to ignore you. You could have came over and talked to me while I was setting up. Anybody can come over and talk to me. Yeah. But I
It was
felt
so good to
bad.
see Kelly there.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I told
That
her,
was
I said,
awesome.
you're missing us, huh? And she goes, yeah, just a little bit.
I thought she was going to cry when I gave her badge. She didn't
Oh.
know I was going to make her one.
I
And I was
told
like,
her,
yeah.
I said, we told everybody was coming.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty
She's-
cool.
Yeah, she is.
She's a doll.
She is a sweetheart. She's the only original member aside from myself. So,
Wow.
yep. Unfortunately, the last few years have been a little hectic for her, so she hasn't been able to go to a lot of places.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Really good people.
What are you you're looking at? I know you probably haven't talked about it yet. Next year's.
Oh yeah, they've already talked about it.
September 28th.
Oh no, I got the date. That's what I was going to say. Other than the date, and going to continue on doing the same kind of thing. So
Yes, yeah.
yeah, I thought no sense in changing
similar
the format.
format.
Work, yeah.
Yeah, it worked out really well. Last night we did on the Fringe with Mark and Phil, and Enzo was on there with us too. It was me and Jess and them. And somebody brought up the idea, I don't remember who it was, about doing like a podcasting panel of podcasters. And how cool would that be? So we might have to include a panel like that next
Then I
year.
could do
That'd
two
be a lot of
panels.
fun.
I wasn't going to do the crypto
Right?
panel. I was like, what do I know? I saw something. That doesn't mean anything. And UFOs, I'm like, never seen one. Don't know.
See, I did every panel, even though I've never went cryptid investigating or anything like that. Shush. But I did that because I am interested in it. It's paranormal.
Yes.
I've always been interested in it. But I mean, whether or not you've seen it or done it, be on the panel anyway.
Yeah, because we get so many such a good conversation going between people that have different, outlooks on it.
Yeah.
Yes, angles. Yeah, that's a good word.
Well, that's why I enjoyed sitting in the audience. One thing, I didn't have a table, and that was good because then Tina and I were free to just do whatever. And usually if we have a table, Tina won't leave the table, right? Just in case somebody walked out, so she will not leave it. So she'd be able to get up and do that and actually listen. We didn't get to listen to that the final one, the UFO one, because that couple come up and talk to us. They had some pretty serious questions. So people come first, right? So try to take care of them. No, but it was a good time.
It's recorded, so you can always go back and watch it.
I can. I haven't had an opportunity at all.
I can't remember. I looked at the stats last night. As of last night, we had close to 500 views on our live stream. So I haven't looked today to see what it's at. So yeah, there's quite a few people that are seeing it.
There was this one gentleman that was there he was wearing like a khaki shirt. He had come up to me after I got off the first panel, and he was talking about his paranormal experiences. And he said, yeah, right beside, the lady that can't see really, really good. And I said, yeah. He goes, there was a lady sitting right beside her. I said, you should tell her. Go tell her.
Yeah.
And he said, no. And I'm like, don't be shy.
I
She'd
wish
love
you
to
would
hear
have
it.
Yeah.
But
you could probably have told him who it was too.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the last year she had said that she had somebody sitting next to her.
Christy,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't know, she's talking about psychic medium Christy Campbell.
Yep.
We've had her on AMOK before, and she is amazing. She is so good at what she does.
I wanted to get a reading from her, but every time I went out there, she had somebody sitting at her table, and I was like, "Well, I'll get with her online."
She was busy the whole night.
Yeah,
was.
she was busy. She was busy, and tarot card lady was busy. And I saw the crystal ball lady. I saw her reading our kin.
Yes, that was
Ooh,
interesting.
cool.
Kin.
Yeah, because I'm very skeptic about the crystal ball
lady.
But Ken was verifying a lot of what she was saying. So
cool.
It was kind of interesting because, you know, I'm gazing into the crystal ball. Seriously.
Yeah.
Did she say gaze into the crystal ball?
No.
No, she said she was going to, and I did just to see if I could see anything. And right before she said, Shaw, you were there. What right before she said something about the cloud. She said, I saw a brief cloud.
Yeah.
Well, right before she said that, I actually saw a little cloud in the middle of it, just kind of floating around as she was turning the crystal ball. And after she told me that, she said, no, I don't see anything bad, or you're in good shape, and you know, this and that.
That's awesome.
And I told her, she goes, that's amazing. Nobody has ever told me that they've seen anything in the crystal ball with me before. I'm like, yeah, it was just a little cloud. And actually I saw it twice.
Well, it's also interesting how she started it, because she didn't start it by saying, what's your question? She started it by having you hold the ball and ask and think of your question before she put it on the little stand that she uses to twirl it and look at it. So that was very interesting.
So I did record it. I did not sorry about that. I did not video it, but I did record it. So I'm gonna listen to that one of these days, you know, like everything else when I retire.
Right.
God, I got about 1,000 of them to look at when I retire.
Oh, I'm still listening.
But it was kind of interesting. And then I went over, and a little bit later I went to and had my runes read.
Oh, you did go to the rune lady.
I did go to the rune lady.
Okay, good.
That was really fascinating also. And I said, yeah, she started to tell me some different things about the various meanings of the runes. And I was kind of understanding before she even said, you know, looking at the little pictures on there, I'm like, I kind of vaguely already knew what they meant. How, I don't know. But then she corroborated that. And I said, what you just said, I said, the lady over with the crystal ball just said the same thing. And she goes, that's my daughter.
Oh,
I did not know that.
Cool.
That was her daughter. And so that was really kind of interesting. The one person I really feel bad about, if you're watching, I do apologize. The one with that was reading the tarot cards. Every
Lindsay.
time I went, I had promised her before. I said, I'm going to come and see you later. Every time I went over there, she was busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
which was really good. But I did get a reading. I also got a reading from Christy, so got a half and half from her.
Awesome.
Did kind of a psychic reading on me, which was pretty accurate. And then she goes, this, what I forget what it was, quantum something.
Healing. Yeah.
Quantum
healing. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. It was amazing. It was really really interesting how she explained it. Like I'm going to use the techie terms here. There were little bits and bytes in us, you know. Okay, you guys know about computers, bits and bytes. And she said sometimes they get all coagulated with negativity and harshness, and then they coagulate, and then they create a negative effect on parts of your body depending on where the coagulation happens. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of different, and it's interesting. So she started doing you know, she was asking me, you know, where does it hurt the most? And I had said my upper thigh. really, really hurt. I don't know if you guys were paying attention when I was doing my lecture, but I had to actually put my foot up on the chair to stretch that muscle because it just got so tight. I thought I was going to fall over. But afterwards, she did some healing, and I could actually feel iciness, a coldness inside my muscles when she was doing this. And then it kind of started going away, and I put my hand down, and I felt this little bump. I said, it really hurts in this one spot. She said, that's the knot, and it'll eventually go away, which was really cool. And then she really startled me and said, you've got some hip problems too, don't you? I said,
well, she just looked at your age and said, oh yeah, he's got hip problems.
She can't look at his age.
Yeah, she didn't look at my brain scan either, and she would have known for sure. I knew that already, but anyway, no, she said, you've got something wrong with your hip too. I said, yeah, my right side, right above that same area. She goes, it's a past life. How'd she explain that? It's a past life injury. I said, that's kind of interesting. I've undergone past life regression, and I knew about 3 lives. I've done one on my own, and I come up with another 2. She goes, you've got at least 12 past lives. And this particular one, and then she hesitated, and she said, you have a sword stuck through your hip from your right side to the left side. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, you were a young man caught in a big war, a battle, and you fought another kid, and the other kid over in India somewhere when you were really young, and stabbed you with a wooden sword, and it went right through your hip, and it's still stuck there.
Oh,
I'm like,
no wonder it hurts.
So I'm like, so what do we do about it? She said, shh, I'm working on it.
I'm working.
And would you believe that it could be, I mean, I believed a lot of things she was saying because she was pretty much on target, but Christy, thank you. But my hip has felt much better.
Good.
Since
That's
Saturday.
awesome.
I don't know if it's up here. I do know that it's down here. and that pain is gone, so at least right now. So I'm like very grateful for that. So it was some interesting interaction for me with various groups that were there. And I did walk around to every vendor and introduce myself and welcomed them and talked about some of their wares and their books and different things. And
I talked to all the vendors too. I thought it was pretty good. I never got read, just because that it sounds terrible. I just can't seem to pay for something that I have a hard time believing. They have to get me first. There's got to be something that to reel me in. Mm-hmm. And just say, hey, sit down and I'll tell you your future. And I'm like, no, it ain't gonna happen. I've had several people try to read me, and all they see is a clown face. They never really get the reality of me. And so I just okay, whatever. And they tell me stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's great. I walk away, and they're way off base.
Well,
but I don't want to be rude to them.
Right.
Old me would have been, but the new and improved Adrian.
The new and improved Adrian.
Yeah, I'm interested in engaging in different things that I've never tried before, and just to see what the experience is like, so that I know what to expect or what to talk about in the future. To other people. They say, "Hey, have you ever done that?" I actually did. That kind of thing.
I'm also worried about movies like Big and Thinner, because I don't want somebody to change me and I turn into a kid instead of back the other way around, or Thinner where the guy just wasted away. I don't worry about this woo-woo stuff.
Energetic shift. It doesn't mean like.
No, I'm not worried about it.
Sorry, was that just a little too vague? I guess
seismic shift. Well, it doesn't mean like
obscure, maybe.
People ask me questions all the time, and now I have some more experience in some new things that I've never tried before. So at least now I can talk intelligently now about it, but no, I mean, I can actually, tell them, what I experienced, and not that it's going to be the same for anybody, but at least now I know.
When we were first talking about what Christy would be offering at the ParaCon, she said, I can do the psychic mediumship, and I can also do quantum healing. And she's like, which do you think I should do? And I was like, I'll be real honest, I don't even know what quantum healing is.
Yeah, I didn't
And
either.
she's like, we were on the phone, and she was like, do you have a minute? Do you care if I try it on you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she's like, okay, focus on a part of your body that's in pain right now. And at the time, everybody knows I have lost my leg below the knee.
What?
Christy knows that too, right?
That
Christy
wasn't
knows that
real.
too. No, it's not a tattoo. But so it'd be easy to say, okay, your lower left leg hurts, and it was actually my knee that was hurting. And so I'm focused on my knee, and that's exactly where she went. Okay, your knee's hurting, I see this around it, let me focus on this and start pulling this pain away. And she worked on it, and she said, by tomorrow you should be able to tell a difference. And I'm like, Ken, I don't know if it's mostly in your head or what, but it felt better. And she worked on Jess too, and made a huge difference for Jess during the ParaCon, because she was starting to have some problems. And it was pretty wild.
Pretty
cool.
After that happened, I wish I would have done it before I talked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was an amazing experience. And Pam, when you underwent that, did you feel it happening?
Yeah, I felt it at the time. I could feel it was almost like a draining away of pain. I could feel, because she was like, it's more focused on the inside of your leg, which it was, and or the inside of your knee. And she's like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to pull it upwards and pull it out the top of your head and away from you. And I could feel, it felt like something was moving up and through. And I don't know if it was just, suggestion. I don't know, but I don't care because it worked. You know what I mean?
Seems like there would be a more direct
difference.
route out of the body than all the way up.
Right.
Well, it was
I don't know if
picking up the other. It was picking up the other stuff that was
Right. It's like
dragging
a
along.
magnet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of like a net. Just capture stuff as it goes.
Think
Come
of
on,
Galaxy
Adrian.
Quest. Think of Galaxy Quest.
I just, as a medical professional, I'm just thinking there are quicker exit points.
Right.
Oh my goodness, there's quicker exit point. So you wanted to go to that exit point?
Well,
I mean, that could have been a lot of stuff coming there,
basically, when she did that, it was.
I saw some healers. I saw some healers at another convention. I won't talk about it because that person's in the room with us right now. But they had these people come in, and they were a table to our right, and they were doing stuff, and they were pulling the bad stuff out of them, and then they'd burp.
They would burp.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they were pulling the energy out of the person and into them, and then they burp.
Interesting.
And I was sitting there, and that was pretty nice, Adrian. So I was sitting there really trying to be nice, to show some respect to the host. But I so much wanted to die laughing. And then the person who was at the table with me was giggling too, which really didn't make it easy on me. But that, so whenever I hear somebody healing, that's where my mind goes. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, Ken.
Burping.
Yeah. Do you remember them people?
I remember.
Oh, well, at least they didn't fart instead.
I'm not saying they didn't.
Yeah, that's
I'm not saying they didn't do that, but I won't even speak to their gender, so people won't know who they could possibly be. But there was a group of them, and so
they were doing some interesting things. I will say that. And I actually saw the results of one of the last things they were pulling out, and that is a story for another time because it startled me. So yeah, I mean, all I'll say is that what the negativity inside of a person, when it does get expelled, it's not
Was
pretty.
he talking about me? Did he say
Squatted like a toad.
being negative? The negativity.
No, we'll go into it a different time when there's more time. But it was, it was quite startling what I had seen, and I think one other person saw it also. But anyway, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But when you said the burping thing, I didn't even realize that for them. But I sat in on some psychic circles, a couple of them, and I know quite a few psychics, in the St. Louis area, and I've been to some of their talks or events or whatever you want to call them, and it's amazing that a number of them, and they even said when they start really getting into this aspect of the spirits working through them, they end up burping, and the more they burp, they said the better it is for them. And I'm like, okay, but Adrian, I do agree. It after a while it becomes amusing, and you're sitting there going,
trying to hold in the laughter,
and you got go coming out because you're holding it in so hard. But yeah, it's.
I feel you probably have more couth in a situation than I would. That.
What you do is
you said when your psychic healer
you burp yourself,
you swallow.
Yeah, definitely.
You swallow your air, then you burp. Make
Let
them
me
all
pull
feel
your
good.
finger. Oh no.
Oh my gosh!
No, thank you.
But yeah, that is something I've heard before. I'm like, really?
I'm just saying that a 56-year-old male, I could probably make all kinds of bodily functions happen and just make it. Oh, so much better. Don't you feel better?
You'd be like a couple of spirits that I talked to, and then they burped and farted and belched and sneezed over the radio. It's like, really? This is cool.
Cool.
So,
well, yeah, I heard that.
That's part of my show, and I like telling stories too, Adrian. But mine are all little short ones, across the gamut. But I really did your story.
Thank you. It's fun.
You're welcome.
I like it. I like anything that Tina and I can get together and talk, because it was kind of because we were supposed to have two mics, and that one mic is messing up. One of the fun part about that presentation specifically is the aggravation that Tina had towards me during the whole thing. So I'll be talking stuff, and she said she was making facial expressions at me, so about behind my back, because that's just the way it is, right? It is a relationship, and there was just a moment that we were just bickering a lot. So because I just flat out didn't believe her.
Yeah.
So, now I'm a very loving, supporting husband.
Yeah, and I saw her roll her eyes from the back of the room when you said that. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, about that.
But you guys were a good team, and
very good. You play well off of each other.
It was the comedy straight guy, the comedian straight guy thing.
We've been married for 27 years. We're a pretty good team. I couldn't imagine life without her. And I couldn't imagine where we'd be right now if we hadn't gone through all this weird stuff. So I love exactly where we're at. I'm glad we did it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, congratulations. I know your anniversary was what, weeks ago?
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah. See, I paid
27 years.
That's so awesome.
That is awesome.
But yeah, it was a good time. The book people and
oh yeah, I will finally have a guest for Oklahoma coming up next season.
No.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Maybe that's something we can talk about too. We had two authors there. One was Jeff Provine.
Yep.
And he has quite a few books under his belt
too. Oh gosh, yes.
And he's young. He
is. He
I
is.
think he is like mid to late 20s. He's not very old. And
I think
Yeah,
he's in his late 20s.
Yep.
yeah, and he's got like, I don't know, is it close to 10 books now
I
that
thought
he's
it was like
written?
8 to 10 books there that were written.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty
So,
incredible. I did pick one of his books up.
I think he said
I
he
have
did
it
his
right
first
here.
one when he was 14. I think he said
Wow,
first one
that's
he wrote
amazing.
was, it was either in 14 or he was 14. I can't remember.
I already actually had one of his books and got super excited when I found out he was going to be there, that Jess had talked to him. And then I picked another book up there at the ParaCon. So
Oh my gosh.
pretty exciting.
And during the cryptid,
Oh yeah.
and
Mm.
he's talking about this octopus in the middle of
Yeah.
a lake here in the
Yes.
Midwest. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Never-
it's
Well,
a
you
never
know,
heard
the
about
funny
that.
thing about that is, I was going to bring up and mention during that cryptid thing about the possibility of camouflage. Since octopi can camouflage, some lizards can camouflage, why couldn't Bigfoot camouflage? I'm just saying.
It's a good point. Yeah.
You got mood purr.
Yes,
Yeah.
mood fur.
Mm.
But I mean,
A little ring, yeah.
you got to think about it though. A lot of the times
No,
when
that's
people
true.
say that they get rocks thrown at them and then get other things thrown at them, but they don't ever see him.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
So I don't know.
That's a good theory or hypothesis. I'm not sure where this. I've been yelled at
Yeah,
both
theory.
ways. Okay.
Okay, so the Oklahoma octopus is supposed to be in Lake Tenkiller, and I was just looking to see how far away it is from me. And
It's right on the border of Arkansas.
105 miles.
It's near the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Oh,
It's like an hour and 10 minutes from me.
cool.
It's right past
I just thought-
Muskogee.
I just thought that was really fascinating. An octopus, because that's salt
Yeah,
water. He didn't even
'cause,
mention
yeah.
that. And then I'm like, how could that happen? Then I remembered see, this is where, talking to people helps, Adrian. I said, somewhere in the past I heard, so I'm sitting up there listening to these guys and I'm sitting there Googling and I'm like, yeah, some types of limestone can create, or they're salt filled. So
Mhm.
why couldn't that salt into the water enough for them to survive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're pretty adaptable too. So
Yeah,
just
they
like
are.
anything, do I believe that there are octopus in the river system or lakes out here? I don't know. Do I believe that they could over time adapt? Sure, because octopus,
Octopi.
Octopui.
octopui,
Octopui.
almost
Oh,
did
no.
something wrong.
You gotta
Almost did
kill me
something
with
really
that.
wrong. But they are one of the most amazing creatures on the planet.
They're one of the
Mhm.
smartest too.
Yeah, they're really
Octopi.
pretty.
Yep.
Octopi.
Enzo
No, I
said
knew
it's
that.
octopi.
See, nobody listens to me, Enzo. This is where we come to
I
what we
heard
talk
that.
about, like male and female kind of thing. I'm sitting here saying octopi, and everybody's like, I don't know.
It's like Molly and Famali, right?
Right. Tomato.
But
Yeah, he said,
I just,
and he did say octopi are pretty odd already. A
Mm.
freshwater version would not be surprising.
yeah.
Well, he said he's seen them in what do they call it, the brine area, which is not quite salty, but kind of in
Mhm.
between.
I've never
But-
been in
but-
that lake, so I don't.
In
But then
Tenkiller, I
again-
haven't either.
Then again, we've actually in the past, I forget what year it was, a couple times, there's actually been a shark
Oh, I was going to mention that.
down in St. Louis along in the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow.
we're talking muddy water in this area.
Yeah, looking for
Mhm.
some junk food.
It's like, how could they have managed to come this far? So
Well,
maybe what
adaptation.
I'm saying, that's some salt, because again, we're on limestone bed. St. Louis is totally on limestone, and Mississippi.
But how do they survive
I
coming up
couldn't-
all the way the Mississippi River? I can understand a little ways because of the salt water and the freshwater
Mhm.
mingling,
Right.
but all the way to St. Louis?
Yeah, but there's deeper waters too, in the
Yeah.
Mississippi until you get to Cairo, Illinois, and that's where the Ohio River dumps into Mississippi, and it's about, I think they say it's over 300 feet deep. Mississippi River is in
Wow.
that area.
Wow.
It gets a lot shallower up here, maybe 30
Mhm.
feet, something like that. Unless it's the 93 flood, then it was 50 feet deep.
Ooh.
But yeah, so I don't know otherwise, but it made it up this far, and that's what, 150 miles from Carroll,
Mhm.
Yeah.
roughly. So I don't know.
It's interesting.
There's no
Okay.
telling.
Or-
It's like some of the animals that you find that people are like, "Oh, that's native to Australia. How did it get here?" Well, somebody could have had it on their boat.
Because
Yeah.
because a tourist
Hitchhike.
put it in a bag and got it
Hitchhike.
home.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways that creatures can come here, but they also talk about whenever you have a different kind of animal from a different part of the world coming into your part of the world, it can cause a whole
Oh, yeah.
messload
Ecosystem
of
issues.
complications. Yes. So
sure.
it's like, well, we gotta hurry up and get it out of here and do. Well,
Mhm.
it's just one, and it's not a female. I mean, but
And
at
look
the
at
same
the-
time, I understand. It's like the during the conversation I had Sunday, Hunkers was talking about ants that are only native to one particular tree. So if they were to come off that tree and adapt in other locations, I haven't researched this, so just so you know, but if that particular ant, and it has some kind of poisons or something in it, and I mean, that could be detrimental, but at the same time, if it doesn't adapt, because it is only native to one tree, then that
Mhm.
goes extinct.
That sounds weird.
What? Native to one tree?
No, having aunts migrate, uncles.
But yeah, it can be
Bugs,
crazy.
bugs migrate all the time on birds and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess if you could think of it as like a smaller scale of like, we can only live on one planet, you know. It's not so weird that way if you think about an ant can only live on one tree.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that is
good
a
point.
planet to an
perspective.
ant.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it
talk
is.
To
Yeah,
them,
different
talk to them
perspective.
alien people and see how many planets they live on.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to see a lot of different creatures. I mean, you look
When you
at
think about
the
it,
stuff that was considered cryptids back in the day, like the giant squid and the platypus.
yeah.
I mean, they
One of
became
the
real.
one of the comparisons that's been made before too is like if maybe all we see of the world, is all that we know is everything around us. But if you were to look at an ant and put them beside an interstate, and where they would look up and all they would basically see is the asphalt up to a certain point, and there's so much more beyond that asphalt. Maybe that's what we see, when you talk about dimensions and things like that. Maybe we're only seeing this little
Wow.
bitty slice.
We got deep and philosophical.
We just had to land before time.
Mhm.
It's interesting.
You don't know
Right.
though.
Yeah,
It
you
is.
don't.
It is
but that-
interesting to think about.
That is correct. So
It is an amazing,
yeah,
amazing
may-
thing. Same with
maybe we
UFOs.
can't see over the ledge. There
I
you go.
mean,
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
get to UFOs and you start hearing and seeing all the stuff that NASA and Starlink and all them, not Starlink, yeah, Starlink is finding. I mean, you still had, I don't know if it's still going on out there, but there's still, and that's the thing that gets me. If that thing can take pictures all the way out in our universe, how come we can't get a close-up clear picture of a burglar or a killer or something on our cameras?
Because Hubble's faced the wrong way.
Because I don't understand that. We're seeing all this stuff that's out in space. There's another universe with another Earth-like world. Okay, you can see that, but you can't get a clear picture of a darn criminal?
No.
Come
they
on.
The
can't.
different price of those cameras too.
Oh.
That might have something to do with it.
Maybe, maybe if you put $1 billion camera on the street.
Well, they should.
Enzo just said back when they brought a platypus back from Europe, or to Europe, they almost started fist fights about them sewing different types of animals together.
Yeah.
Because
well, how was it
platypus are
living?
strange. Yeah. They do look weird. They do look like
They
different kinds of
do.
animals put together.
They do. They're dangerous. Oh my goodness. Dangerous. Have those little thorn things. No, platypi. Platypi. Yeah.
Platypi.
Platypui.
Platypui.
It is platypi.
That is platypi.
That sounds like a dessert.
The Webb Space Telescope was about 10 billion all involved. Well, if they're going to have stuff like that for like government cameras and stuff like that, I'd rather my money, my taxpayers' dollars go into something that's going to help us than hinder us.
Eric, Eric goes to K-State, and when he started classes last year, he was so intimidated because he was like, "Oh my God, one of my professors worked on the James Webb Telescope," and he was like, "I don't know, this is gonna, I don't need to be in this class. I'm not ready for this," and blah blah blah. And so, 6 weeks in, I was like, "So how's that professor doing?" "Oh yeah," and I can't remember his name on. Jim or whatever. "Oh yeah, Jim, he's a great guy. I love him to death." Yeah, he's a real person. Yay, you finally figured that out.
Everybody's real people. We all bleed red.
Yeah, people talking about why can't they see things clearly here? Right now, if we all just looked up and then just waved, I bet we'd find all 4 of our pictures on the internet somewhere.
Probably
from the Hubble or one of the satellites up there. Going, that's
just to bring this back around to the ParaCon a little bit. Something that we haven't discussed yet was the bonfire the night before at Phil's.
Oh,
and we were all able to go to that, and I just wanted to put a big old shout out to Phil and Andrea for having us out.
Oh yeah, fantastic!
Yes,
it was so fun.
It was good food. Oh my goodness,
it was really good food. They really knocked it out of the park on the smoked
although
meats.
Although I didn't say a ghost story.
You didn't, or you
I copped out. I did not. I copped out.
Yeah, while they were talking, I went and got another brewski.
Talking about it, I was like, nope.
I got another brewski.
Ended up with two ghost stories. Pam, I think you told one, and who was the other one? Was that Jess?
Yes.
Yeah, because we started talking about dimensional slips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was interesting. I had planned on staying longer. I wanted to get pictures of the sky with my phone, but the moon was too bright.
Of all things, it was so bright.
I vote for a karaoke party next year.
A karaoke party.
Are you going to sing?
I will sing. I'll sing.
Just so you know, and we'll find out if Andrea killed him yet or not. But Phil offered their place for another bonfire next year. So this is before he spoke to Andrea.
Yes, satellites and looking at the sky. I was looking up at the sky a lot that night to see if I could see anything out of the ordinary. No,
we did see
a bunch of
the International Space Station. It was pretty bright.
Yeah. Oh, that's always so bright.
Trying to get pictures of the moon, and I was like, okay, my camera. I didn't have a tripod, so I was trying to get it to be steady. So I'm walking to see if I could put my camera on something a little more firm, and I almost walked into this big old web with a huge spider. And I was like, I stopped like 6 inches away from it. I think I heard the spider scream. And it tried to run away. But so I tried to get pictures of it with the moon, in the moon, because I never did get a good picture. So all those look like poop. But well, worth a try. I'm just glad I didn't scream and yell and holler like Jason did. Jason had a spider on his booty.
Oh man, that must have been after I left.
Next year.
just put in here to tell you guys about Chris Harrington's experience, and just help me if I get it a little bit wrong here. So Chris was the guy that was there. He was sitting on the east side of the fire, really quiet. He had the two kids with him. And when they left, instead of turning back north at that first dirt road and going around the big pump station and stuff, and then by the airport, they went straight and on up. And when they were going that way, they passed a man that was in an older Jeep. And so I guess he thought the man yelled at him or something. So he stopped to see, what was going on and see if he needed help or whatever. And he was like, hey, man, what's up? Stood there and had a whole conversation with him and everything. And then, ended with, well, have a great evening, and he got in the vehicle. The kids are in there too. He gets in the vehicle and goes to leave. And as he's pulling off, he looks in his rearview mirror. There's no one there. And when he's not 30 feet away and there was no one there.
Whoa.
And he was like, it freaked him out completely, but he had to catch.
So was there any wrecks of a Jeep or anything in the past around that area?
He was up from Oklahoma City with Opus. He was part of the Opus team that came. Not that we're aware of, but right through that area, very close to Bolton Wayside area, there is stories of phantom vehicles on the highway right through there too. But that's the first one I've heard of someone actually talking to someone. But it was interesting because it was an older Jeep, and
So when you left Phil's place, instead of going left, which is where I came in, I got to the end of the road and my GPS said go right. And I think, is that the same way he went?
So, okay, when
I went right.
As you pulled out of Phil's driveway,
I went left.
I ended up going
you pull out of Phil's driveway and you turn left.
I came in from the left, but I went to the right this time when I left.
Oh, when you left? Oh, you went
my
probably
GPS,
over towards Deering or Jefferson, maybe?
160 something, whatever that number was.
166.
Just straight into it, and then I made a right.
Yeah.
But if he went right, I noticed this probably about a good 3 miles maybe to the highway roughly. And I noticed just at one point, I thought I had seen some car lights off to my right, but I didn't see any farmhouses. And it was like a cornfield. But I didn't pay any attention to it. I was more worried about running into some deer out there, which there were a couple of deer.
Yeah, they're thick out through there.
He who walks between the rows.
Right. Children of the
corn.
Yeah, no, when you the way I came in, when you're coming out of Phil and Andrea's, turned left, and then at that first
right turn,
turn back right. That's the way I went. But from my understanding, Chris went on straight.
So he went.
He followed his GPS and it took him on straight. So he went left and he continued to go left, or he continued.
Okay, so he went the opposite way. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we did too. Because I was like, "Well, you just passed the road. Where are you going?" He goes, "I'm going the way the GPS is going."
Yeah,
that's exactly what I did because I was lost.
Did you get lost out there? It's
no. Siri's on the map took me right to his house. So
good.
Yep,
took me right home. No problem. No, hey. Yeah. That was great. I enjoyed the party. I enjoyed that. That was cool, nice and relaxed. Had no issues getting there. Had no issues getting back. And
excellent.
It was good. And I went home and went almost straight to sleep. Had to shower because I smelled like fire pit. You probably and, my chairs still smell like fire pit. I need to Febreze those things. But yeah, we got up and had a great breakfast at Egbert's, and it makes me want to go back. I like them.
I love Egbert's. Egbert's is my favorite place to go eat breakfast and have coffee.
And I also have to have a shout out one of the vendors there, Kevin and Lori. I forgot the name of their.
Oh yeah, right by the door.
Yeah. Tina bought a Bigfoot plaque. And really, really cool. And she's trying to figure out where's the best place to put it. You're talking about this is my paranormal room, but that deserves someplace that everybody's going to see.
Yep,
that's really cool.
They came up from Texas.
Yeah, They're really
really
cool.
really nice people.
Well, I met them at the hotel that we stayed at, because they stayed at the
Oh,
same hotel.
cool.
So
Well, that's awesome.
in my bright yellow shirt, they were like, "Hey, let me ask you a question.
You look familiar.
Are you going to
Enzo
the
put on
paranormal
here,
thing?"
ghost Jeeps, wonky GPS, flat tires. I don't know. Did you guys hear about the flat tire story with Doc and Christy?
No.
Yeah.
Right after they left Phil's, they turned the way that Ken went. They turned right and went out towards the highway. And right when they got up onto the pavement, Doc's tire blew completely out. All
Oh,
the
whoa.
sidewall of it was gone. And so Christy calls me, and I had just left. I wasn't a couple miles down the road. And she was like, we really need some help. And I was like, okay, hang on. I don't have Phil's number, but I got Mark's. And Mark had already left. So I call Mark, and I'm like, I'm going to turn around and go back to Phil's. So I call Mark, hey, can you call Phil? Then I went back to Phil's, and Enzo was still there with Phil and Phil's son, Levi. And so I pull in, and they were like, what? Did you forget something? What's going on? So I tell him. And so I pull Christy back up, and they knew exactly where she was. And they decided, the whole posse was coming. So they all jumped in their vehicles. And by the time they got up there, a Good Samaritan had stopped too and was helping.
Aw,
So between all of them, they got them back up and running and on their way.
that's cool.
And
Yeah. I saw the photos. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Of the blown tire. Yeah.
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, the
That's
whole almost the
crazy.
entire rubber part of it blew off
I
off
told
the tire,
Doc, thank
off
goodness
the
they
wheel.
were going slow and not 80 down the highway,
Right?
because that could have been really bad.
Yeah, it could have. It really
Just
could.
also wanted to point out that's a hot UFO area too, where we were. There's a
Yeah, I
lot
was
of UFO activity.
hoping.
I
Okay.
know.
Okay.
I
Good
know. It's a
news.
little too bright.
Good news here. You said next year's 28th, right? September.
Yes, everybody mark your
September 28th.
calendars.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, for
We
sure.
will
I know
not-
if you're just hearing about it now, like I just heard about it last year, and I chewed on it all year long, so I was really happy to go. So really pleased to be invited to speak and do this stuff. But just to not even just to speak, it's just a fun place to be.
Yes.
Like you said, it's great to be able to hang out with a whole bunch of people that have the same weird passion
Yes.
as you,
Yes.
and to go and the vendors and panels and all that stuff. So definitely next year, market. We've already got the calendar for next year, so go ahead and write it down. Go get a calendar. They sell them at Walmart. They sell them everywhere. Get a calendar for next year and open up the calendar to September 2024 and write down Bordertown, because you want to go. Definitely, it was
Yeah.
that much fun.
Yep.
Don't kick yourself in the butt.
Awesome.
What were you gonna say, Ken?
On we got to talk Phil into doing it again, and hopefully it's a clear, not cloudy night, because
Yes.
the full moon is on the 18th next year. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
10 days prior. So it'll be nice and dark.
I mean, that full
Darn.
moon coming up was
Very
pretty
cool.
amazing
I'm
because it was
scared.
big
That
and
was
orange
pretty cool.
and
Oh yeah, that was
it
pretty
was
cool.
pretty cool.
I took
but-
some pictures, posted them, and a couple friends said, that looks like big ball of cheese.
It was
Cheese.
pretty bright.
Uh,
But
Well,
yeah,
funny.
so
on that note-
next year it'll be dark.
on that note, do what Adrian says. Mark it on your calendar. Get ready to go to the Bordertown ParaCon next year on the 28th. AMOK will be there.
We'll be
Woohoo.
there.
We'll be there.
That's where AMOK kind of came from, that too.
yeah,
By the way.
it
Yes,
did.
as a matter of fact,
It
Yeah.
that is
did.
a fact.
So SEK AMOK.
Yep. Yep. SEK Bordertown AMOK. So next year, mark it on your calendar. What do we got coming up, y'all? We got the Arkansas Paranormal Expo coming up in October.
We got that coming. Yep,
Mhm.
and the end of the month.
Or
next
this
week-
month, it is October.
That's right.
It is.
And next week is supposed to have Bishop Long. He's got
nice.
something going on. He might not be able to make it. So if that's the case, I'm going to have to pivot and have somebody else on. So not 100% sure who that's going to be. So I'm pulling a Shauna right now. I should have somebody.
See, I get
But-
lucky though. I get shows that are after our event, so I can talk about it.
That's right. So, but that's okay, because I got plan A, plan B, and plan C, and one of those plans should come together. So, but hopefully Bishop Long will be able to be on the show next week with us. I've got nothing scheduled be on the expo. All my thoughts are on that, and a project I'm working on for myself and RVPRI, because it's like everybody else, you got their own thing. I don't have my own thing, and but I've actually been working on something for a while, and that is going to be a smaller podcast than this, maybe a 15-minute, half hour, just shorts. So,
Cool.
but that's going to be kind of interesting. Hopefully I can do that and get around. There's a lot of local stuff here, and put them on, and maybe they can also come on to the big show, this show.
There we go. That sounds cool.
I'm hoping if it worked out the way I have it in my head, hopefully.
Yeah. We're working on, Jess and I are gonna kick ours off. Plan is to have it up going in January for Bordertown Strange. So fingers crossed. We got all the equipment in. My elbow is no longer broken, so we should be good to go.
Well, and in November we have the Pythian Castle and the McIntyre Villa. So we still got that coming up. And then AMOK will be going on break the second week of November.
Yes. Let everybody enjoy their holidays, not have to feel so obligated to be here with us. There'll be a couple changes for next year, but I think it's only going to be a time change.
Yeah. It's my fault.
It's Shauna's fault. It's all Shauna's
I had to
fault.
change my schedule, and here I am rushing home. I haven't eaten dinner yet, and the last thing I ate was breakfast this morning. I had some fruit throughout the day, but I'm starving. So,
on that note,
we'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Everyone have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.